Alright guys, Fuller coming to you with another video. If I offend you with this video, it is what it is. I'm just giving my thoughts about the current climate of boxing that we are in right now. This crooked game of boxing not only have the promoters who are making it crooked, we also have commentators who are making it crooked. We also have big media outlets in which are making it crooked. But what I really want to talk about is the so-called fans who are making it crooked, and some of their logic, which is blinded by nationalism. But not only is it blinded by nationalism, it's blinded by racism as well. I'm going to give a few examples of the logic in which the classic racist boxing fan uses in order for the fights that we want to see not to be demanded as they should be. The first logic is the who has he fought logic. What happens is when a champion in a certain division calls out another champion in that division, and that champion happens to be a threat to their favorite champion, they'll say he hasn't fought anybody. He's not worth having a fight with, despite the fact that that champion has a belt and just wants to unify the belt. A nationalistic fan will say he hasn't fought anybody. He doesn't deserve a title shot, or doesn't deserve a unification fight. Now, what happens is that champion that isn't of their nationality may be able to beat the champion that's of their nationality. Because when the champion of their nationality has a mandatory defense, first thing the fan will say is he has a mando. He has to do that rather than unify. However, if the unification was with a fighter that they think their champion can beat, then they'll turn around and say unifications trump mandatories. The mood changes. Now granted, when they say who has he fought, he hasn't fought nobody. Most of the time that Mando hasn't fought nobody either. And he's just getting his introduction into the United States market most of the time. But it's okay because that fighter is of their nationality. And because that fighter is of their nationality, they don't care who he fights, as long as the fight is not with someone who they feel may beat their fighter. Another thing they'll say is that their fighter will knock such and such out. That their fighter who shares their nationality will walk through the challenger who's challenging, who's daring to be great. But you have to ask yourself, does that fighter think that? Especially if the fighter has been avoiding that certain fighter or certain fighters. You have to ask yourself, when a fighter gives up a mandatory position to get a belt, or when a fighter vacates a belt to avoid a certain fighter, does that fighter really think he can knock the guy out that you guys say he can knock out? If it was that easy, why not write your favorite fighter and tell him to fight that guy then? If you feel that it was going to be a walk in the park for your favorite fighter. Another excuse that these fans use he got dropped by someone. He got dropped by, or he got rocked by someone. He got buzzed by someone. Do you think he can really stand to the other fighter? It's boxing. It happens like that. The unexpected happens in boxing. Did Tito Trinidad not get dropped a lot? But usually when he got dropped, he would get off the campus and then go and stop the guy. Did that not happen to him? Did him getting dropped, or did him even taking losses take away from his legacy as one of the greatest fighters, Boricua fighters? When Floyd Mayweather got buzzed by Zab Judah, when Floyd Mayweather got buzzed by Shane Mosley, when Floyd Mayweather got buzzed by Maidana, did that discount the fact that when he went into fights, he was usually the favorite to win, despite getting buzzed in the past? These are the answers I need. Then, the other standard that you guys do is you guys say, that when the fighter is of your nationality and he gets dropped or he gets buzzed, you guys say that, oh, he was a warrior, he was taking risk. It happens. Or then you go to what happened at the end of the fight if your favorite fighter is victorious. But you don't have that same energy when the fighter that doesn't share your nationality is victorious despite going through some tribulations in the fight. Sports in general is one of the arenas where someone who is biased, someone who is racist, can display their racism in subtle ways and can kind of express how they feel about a certain group of people without outright saying it, because they know if they outright say it, there'll be repercussions. So with that being said, I just felt the need to make this video real quick about the many contradictions of nationalistic fans. Now, when you love the sport and just love the sport of boxing, your whole aim is to see the best fight the best fighters, the top guys at the division. That's what you want to see as a fan. Even if you favor a fighter, you know there's a chance that your favorite fighter can lose, but you still want to see the fight regardless, because him deciding to go for the gusto and go for the greatness should be respected already, you know. So that's how it is. But on the contrary, when you support boxing based off of nationality, you don't want your guy to take risks. You don't want your guy to go for greatness. In fact, you're happy with your guy taking the easiest route to greatness, whatever route that may be. The last thing I'm going to say is it's okay to be nationalistic driven by nationalism. That's fine. But when you're driven by racism, that's not cool. When you're trashing another fighter who's talented and doesn't happen to be in your ethnic group, no need for that. No need for that at all. Focus on your fighter, and if the two meet, may the best man win. Unfortunately, old media plays a part into this too. And old media will take preventative measures to prevent another champion who may be brash, who can back it up, and is not of the dominant complexion of the society. It's not of the complexion who controls pretty much all the media outlets. But anyhow, those are just my thoughts. Y'all leave some thoughts and leave some comments, like and subscribe to the page. And if I offend anybody, it is what it is. You don't have to tune in, but you just sign me out. Enjoy.